What is depression like? If you've ever
Depression is basically your hormones, your
Okay.
serotonin, your dopamine levels in your brain which are produced are low.
There's something which is in our heads which has also been drastically being affected is mental health, and depression rates are skyrocketing.
Yes.
What is the trend you've seen?
New car which launched, or this new watch which came out, or this family went on a holiday. It's all about comparing. It's all about, and not that you want to do it. It's just mentally you feel so bad that you're not doing it. What I'm saying, depression.
What is depression like? If you've ever
Depression
dealt
is
with it?
basically your hormones, your
Okay.
serotonin, your dopamine levels in your brain which are produced are low.
West, I mean, like they say that the West, when you earn a lot more money, but apparently your life is that much more difficult.
Sort of lifestyle which we are living in, the urban lifestyle, let's just say, with alcohol and cigarettes and stress, large amount of stress.
Issue with our generation is that like we have no filter
Yeah.
of information. Like
It just, you're driving somewhere and you'll see some nonsense written somewhere. Drink apple cider vinegar every morning. I lose 10 kgs.
Generation, especially the 20 to 30-year-olds especially, they somehow feel that they're invincible, that they can drink and smoke and do as much as they want, and nothing's going to affect them. But what they don't realize is that if health is gone, all your money, status, relationships are all good for nothing, because if you don't really value your health. And we are lucky enough to have Dr. Krishna Reddy Pingle. You're in the field of radiology, consulting for Apollo hospitals as well.
Thank you.
Just wanted to delve into your brain as the life of a doctor, and kind of what got you into this particular field. Was you forced on, or was it something out of a passion?
Initially, I was 15 years old when I had to make up my mind and choose, okay, what do you want to do? You know, the typical Indian parents, they're like, either you become a doctor or you're an engineer. So here my mother was like, I think medicine would be the best choice, and you'll have a good life, and you'll be looked up to. And so I said, okay, and then did BPC in the 11th and 12th.
BPC is?
Biology,
Physics, chemistry.
yeah.
Sorry.
And,
Surya.
and you're already...
I'm commerce student, so
you're already stuck. Your fate has been decided in the 10th grade that, okay, I'm 11th, 12th, I'm going to do this. And fortunately, those days, private medical colleges were taking students. So I joined Deccan Medical, which was in Hyderabad.
Okay.
And ever since, I've never looked back. So it's been MBBS in Deccan. And after MBBS, I went on to do an MD, because MBBS doesn't seem to have that kind of weightage. You need to do a post-graduation if you're going to be in India. So I chose to do
How long is
radiology.
that period of studying?
So MBBS typically is a 4.5-year course with a 1-year internship.
Okay.
And during now the younger lot, they start writing exams in their final year for their PG. Like in their internship, they start studying, and then they do their MD NEET exam, and then they get into their MD if you're in India. So that takes another 3 years, your post-graduation. So it's technically about 8 to 9 years you're solid. You have to study to get into some kind of rhythm in India as a doctor.
So what was that experience like?
It's tough.
Yeah.
Because I was fortunate to have a payment seat as a radiologist to get into it. But it's not easy with the competition and, with the quota systems, it's not very easy.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, why did you do your whole schooling in India, or you thought of going to the US, or?
Yeah, so I did my schooling in India.
Yeah.
And I went to HPS and Vidyaranya.
Yes.
After that, I did go to Canada briefly, but then my grandfather said, it's easier to finish medicine in India, and if you want to go to America, you could do your USMLE later.
Yeah.
So I came back, did my MBBS.
Right.
And personally, I was burnt out after MBBS. It was very, very challenging for me. And I didn't have the energy to put my effort into, again, getting into the books of USMLE and writing all those exams. So I chose radiology at Deccan Medical, and that seemed to be a little more relaxing and a little more easier for me.
So, as a doctor, what was the toughest challenge you faced? Like, to become a doctor, and after you become a doctor, what is the toughest challenge you've ever faced? Like,
I think the first thing is you need discipline in anything, but
Right.
in medicine,
yeah,
there's so much of studying that I remember my exam time, I would break down
right.
and I wouldn't be able to take that pressure, my surgery exam or my pediatric exam. And it was a lot of pressure it's a lot of studying. And if you're willing to put in that effort, and my mother supported me very heavily, and she used to sit up with me till I studied till 12, 1 o'clock maybe, and make sure I had some company, and she was the backbone to me getting through my MBBS.
Sure.
So it was a very tough, challenging situation.
But then after finishing your studies,
Yeah.
So what happens is you think you've climbed the top of one mountain, and then you see there's another one waiting up there. And then so then I got a job. My first job was 6,700 rupees as an MBBS doctor
Wow.
at a pediatric hospital in Secunderabad. And I realized, oh my God, how is this going to keep me,
Support my
support
lifestyle.
me, myself, or forget about getting married? Then I said, oh my God, I have to do a post-graduation, because in India, no one technically gives you any value as an MBBS.
Yeah.
You'll be just filling case sheets and doing night duties for 25,000 rupees. And I told myself, okay, I have to do it. So then my dad helped me out and said, okay, I'll pay for your radiology seat in Deccan Medical, because he saw me trying to study for USMLE, but I wasn't able to cope with the pressure.
Yeah.
And I got into Deccan Medical, and there's no looking back after that.
Yeah.
Because once you do a post-graduation, you feel a little more confident.
Sure.
You're better than what you were, and it's a special niche you're in.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, you're focused in your...
Exactly. And then this is your end game,
Yeah.
that this is going to take you wherever you're going to go.
Right.
So you get better at it.
As a radiologist, just wanted to ask you, we were having a conversation earlier, and you told me that you wore a lead bracelet.
TLD badge. it's called.
TLD badge. Yes. What is this
Because
badge and why do you
we
wear
have
it?
a lot of radiation.
Right.
So this TLD badge measures the amount of radiation you have absorbed over the time you worked in the department. So there's this atomic research department in Chennai that you send this badge every 6 months, 1 year. So you don't cross that limit of radiation, because radiation can be harmful for you.
of course.
So radiology, that way, a lot of people don't want to get into, because they think there's a lot of radiation, but that's a myth, because there's a lot of lead protection and you're not really in the rays all the time. So a lot of women are getting into radiology now,
Right.
because they say that radiology doesn't have night duties. It's fixed working hours. So you can balance family and family
Working
and career.
life.
Yeah.
Work life.
So-
But just to get more into the life of a doctor, I have also some doctor friends, and a lot of them have one very interesting first-time story of when they saw death up close.
Oh,
What was that like?
Actually, the first time I've seen real death was COVID
Okay.
as a radiologist, because radiology is always -1 in the basements or away from the ICU. So you really don't see death as such. But with COVID, I've seen people pass away in front of my eyes, because they would come to the CT scan, and by the time he's taken the scan, I've seen 2 patients die on the gantry inside, and it was very, very tough for me to handle.
How do you absorb that? Like,
It's very difficult, because when you go home, you're burnt out. You're so traumatized that health is wealth, and you have to protect it, and everything can just finish in a flash.
Wow.
But that's such a difficult thing, right? Like, we as laymen, we are always away from it. Like,
Yeah.
we only see death when somebody close to us passes away,
Definitely.
or hear a friend or whatever
Yeah.
it may have been.
Yeah.
But for you, it's you stay in a place that is constantly treating human beings.
It's very, very difficult, because you're not really seeing, I love playing golf. So, it's a contrast playing golf in nature and open air, and then suddenly you're seeing only ICUs, beeping machines, and you're always seeing illness. So what happens is you have to become tough. You have to be very numb.
It's encouraged, basically.
Yes,
No, but also I'm numb. But do you have PTSD? Like doctors
Definitely,
face PTSD?
I think my anxiety has gone up over the last 2-3 years. I've been to a couple of counselors to help me deal with my anxiety, and I think all doctors post COVID have gone through quite a bit because they had to go through everything. They didn't take a back seat, right? Many doctors.
Yeah.
So it's been very challenging.
It's a very stressful profession for
Yeah,
a lot of people, like
course.
long hours,
mean,
long
that's-
study
that's
period,
definitely.
seeing
That's
death.
the reason we respect doctors as well, and like we have this whole this thing that once COVID hit us,
Yeah.
and we had this whole thing that doctors are like our actual saviors, but nobody's thinking about the doctor. Like they are seeing this day in and day out, and what a tough situation it may have been to just see one patient after the other and try and be helpless. It's not like they don't want to be, they don't want to help.
Definitely. And the feeling is that I feel personally the value of a doctor post-COVID has really shot up in India.
Yeah.
Before COVID, I don't think that value was very much doctors didn't have that kind of respect. They did. I mean, the older generations respected, but the younger lot didn't really know what a doctor would put in. But post-COVID, I think people have really understood the value of what a medical practitioner brings to humanity. And it's very important that people still believe. They shouldn't forget what doctors have done for them. There's so many doctors who have lost their lives.
Yeah.
And there's also certain people, if someone dies on your operating table, the family members end up beating the doctor. It's crazy.
I mean, I guess that's probably in a more rural environment.
No, it's happened in cities also.
No, it's happened everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, see, it takes two hands to clap.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't say doctors have always been right and the family members have been wrong.
Correct.
It takes two hands to clap, and unfortunately things happen.
Yeah.
And
But
we can't blame anyone.
Why is it like sometimes you go to one doctor, he gives a certain sort of a diagnosis. You go to another doctor, he gives a completely opposite diagnosis. That's the problem. Why they always get a second opinion. Why is it like that? Why is doctors so polar opposite sometimes?
I think it's the basics of where they study
Okay.
and how they have kind of approached the disease. Everyone has a different treatment protocol. Like being a radiologist, I learnt about COVID. I also was treating a lot of people during COVID. What medicines I gave someone, some people didn't give, and others gave something else. So, and everyone thought they're COVID specialists. But for general diseases and all, everybody has different protocols to treat. And I suggest that stick to one or two maximum protocols. But see, the thing in India is, we are not like the West. We have one family doctor in that small district or that small town, and you have one pulmonologist, one gastroenterologist. Here you have 100. And I think Indians should stop going to 10 different doctors just because I have a cough. Meet two doctors maximum. So what happens is too many cooks spoil the broth. It's the same thing with medicine, same thing with doctors.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful.
But when you look back at it with all the challenges, ups and downs, do you think it was a correct profession?
Yes,
choice?
yes, definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel...
What are the good parts of being a doctor?
the happiest moment in my life is when I see a patient smile and tell me, thank you so much. You have really helped me diagnose, because we are diagnosticians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and thanks to you, I'm better, or you've saved me, or you've treated me.
Yeah.
That satisfaction you cannot get in any other profession or any other field in the world. And it gives me the most amount of pleasure helping someone. It could be 3 a.m, it could be, I wouldn't even know you, but if I have the chance to help you at that moment, get healthy or fight death, or that gives me so much, encouragement to get up next morning and go to work. I think that's the only thing which keeps most doctors who keep going. I mean, that's why I get up and I go to work, because I'm here to help.
Yeah.
And that's the best thing you can do.
But the pay is good.
The pay is okay. I mean,
Of
can't
course.
complain.
Yeah.
Compared to the West, obviously, it's nothing. But it makes up with the people you're helping. At the end of the day, I see 50, 60 ultrasounds a day, or if I report 60 CTs or 30 MRIs, it's you've helped that many people. So you don't look at the pay as much.
Do you feel like the West? I mean, like they say that the West, when you earn a lot more money,
Yes.
but apparently your life is that much more difficult. Is that?
See, there's a
is
balance.
that
See,
true?
there's a work-life balance.
Yeah.
There's no better place to live if you're doing well like India.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Because especially for your parents, especially when you're retired, especially when you have kids, you have the support system.
Right.
In the West, you may be making a lot of money, but there is no support system to help your family, or you don't meet your friends as frequently, everyone takes appointments. It's a different life. And the way I look at it is medicine everywhere. You can't say that doctors in the West are better or doctors in India are better.
Agree.
They have their quacks over there, you have quacks over here.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's all a plus and minus. But for me personally, I feel the quality of life you get in India,
Yeah.
you can't get anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Even if you're not making that exorbitant amount of money, like say a plastic surgeon or a orthopedician who's really well known, and if you're a very simple, humble doctor, you'll have a better life.
Yeah. So I just coming to change the point. Like I just wanted to ask you, there have been recent deaths of artists. You know, they're
Yes.
40-year-olds, 50-year-olds,
Yeah.
just passing away with a heart attack suddenly.
And they're being
randomly.
fit.
And they're fit. And
Yeah.
they're all fit. Like we know somebody who's a politician, who's
Yeah.
actually a friend's brother,
Yeah.
who recently who's passed away.
Yeah.
And he looked so fit. Like I knew him personally. I've met him a few times personally as well.
Yeah.
And like he was so fit, but suddenly he just like passed away.
So what I've come to this analysis is when you're younger, you need to be careful of excess workouts, late nights. You can't push your body to an extreme.
Yeah.
See, outside you all may look very nice and you're all prim and proper and all, but then internally, how do you know what you're feeling? There are days where I'm wired with say 4 cups of caffeine and I have to go to the gym.
Right.
But actually, I should listen to my body at 7 in the night and say, listen, I'm
Just-
done for today.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Listen to your body
Yeah.
and control your whatever. Don't go to the gym.
Yeah.
But all these celebs and these artists,
Right.
they have such a vigorous schedule that
Yeah.
they really don't have that time for themselves. They're not listening to their bodies.
They're
they-
maximizing that.
Exactly, they're like flooring it. They're maximizing their lifestyle output, which you shouldn't.
Yeah.
And I think the competition is so high. And now with Instagram, Facebook, the fake profiles, the fake body, everyone wants to have the perfect body, the
Yeah,
perfect
yeah.
skin, the perfect hair. And that pressure is so much that you can't control. It's not possible
But
to.
see, there's so many criticisms again of this sort of lifestyle which we are living in, the urban lifestyle, let's just say, with alcohol and cigarettes and stress, large amount of stress.
Yeah,
But
mentally
still at the
busy.
same time, we're living longer than we've ever lived. Life expectancy is at an all-time high.
Yeah, that's
so
for sure.
how, like,
So the life expectancy is much more because of the medications which are available.
okay.
So that's why
The
people in the
medical
70, like now people who are 70 to 80 are younger than what, say, 20 years ago the guy was
Yeah, because in
75.
1947, average life expectancy
60.
in India was 34
Oh,
But
in
that's-
India.
But,
That's
but
nothing.
the medical community has
Today
grown
it's 69, 70.
exponentially.
Yeah.
Definitely.
The technology has grown exponentially. So of course there is a lot
Definitely.
more
Like if let's say you have like a shoulder arthritis, you can get a new shoulder now. You want to walk after 70, you get your knees replaced.
Yeah,
But that wouldn't have happened, say, in 1970.
yeah.
So obviously the quality of life, you're improving for that person for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
You do a bypass at 70. You're sure that he can live for the next 10 years.
yeah.
But same thing, 1980, people were scared to do a bypass. People didn't know what a knee replacement was. People didn't eat as healthy.
But
You know?
also like his field, like radiology. Where was radiology like in
Nothing.
the 70s?
There were only X-rays.
Exactly. There was no
nothing.
radiology.
So now doctors depend so much on radiology imaging.
Yeah.
If they have something going on in the abdomen, they take a CT scan and then only they'll operate.
Yeah.
So there's so much of advanced engineering with this that people are living longer. But the youngsters are living a very, careless life in the sense of being very, they're not very, what's the right word?
Conscious.
Conscious. they're not conscious, and there's too much of competition.
Yeah.
They want, okay, somebody's gone, traveled 2 weeks, I also have to travel. So I have to work more, I have to make more money.
Yeah.
So everyone is trying to compete, and everyone's doing too much from what they're supposed to be doing.
Like right now in India, what is the biggest killer for us is still cardiovascular disease.
Cardiovascular, diabetes, obesity. I would
Diabetes,
say
yeah.
if you go to a mall, do you see anyone actually eating at home these days?
Not at
I
all.
don't
Very
see
less.
anyone.
It's become so
I
easy to
go-
order.
has changed
I
that
went
for everybody.
any mall you go to for a movie, you see the food courts, they're packed.
Yeah.
We don't eat at home anymore and say, okay, then let's go for a movie. We're all eating out. Nobody's eating at home.
Yeah.
So eventually, all your kids, your family, that much more heavier you're going to be. And I've done a study where personally I've not eaten out for say 3 weeks,
Right.
and I've lost 3-4 kgs.
Wow.
And the same person, that's me, who eating out regularly is still 5 kgs more. So that shows eating out is actually quite damaging.
Right.
You know, you have to stick to your grandmothers, like how Luke Cotino or, you know, all this Ruchita Divakar.
Yeah.
They all say eat home food, just eat home food.
Yeah.
That really works. And I think more Indian families need to
But
adapt.
like I stayed in the States for a year and I realized there's no real cooking culture in the households over there because
Yeah.
it's so easy to just order a pizza. It's there in
Yeah.
10-15 minutes.
Have you heard of this concept called supersize me?
Yeah, of course, Super
Yeah,
Size Me.
so-
That was
yeah.
that documentary. It's just like we realize that you are what you eat. Your
Yeah.
diet
Exactly.
No, but
determines
if
so
you-
much of your
If you really
life.
think about it, even in India, the large is still the small of an American.
Yeah.
Size.
Yeah, of course.
But it'll become at that stage because
Definitely.
we are slowly getting hooked to this
No,
MSG
but like,
and
that's the
certain
thing.
things.
See, India like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, like if you saw and you went, where would you see one KFC? We had to go to
Yeah.
Bangalore
Yeah, definitely.
to eat one KFC.
Exactly.
Ah,
Here now you're thinking like, let's get KFC for dinner, and it's on your phone tip,
Yeah.
on your fingertips on the phone. Boom, it comes off.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. Yeah.
So obviously with Swiggy, it's crazy. I mean, you can get what you want.
But like as you see, like obesity rates in India are going through the roof. Before we had hunger as a big problem in
Another
India.
thing I've
Now we have
realized-
obesity.
Apart from
Well,
obesity,
it's a good problem to have. Sorry, continue.
no, the thing is with obesity, nobody wants to really go to a gym. I feel the majority of population are still unaware of what a gym is or what a sport is.
Yeah.
They only think, let's go for a walk.
Yeah.
So they'll go to KBR or they'll get a treadmill at home. Most of the treadmills are covered with clothes to dry, and they only know what is just walk or diet.
Yeah.
And I also last year was into this wellness where I used to give diets and you know what the person needs to work out.
Sure.
A lot of people go to 10 dietitians, like I told you about doctors. They'll go to 10 doctors. Here also, every week somebody will say, "Can you give me a diet?" They think it's a quick fix.
Yeah.
But actually, good health is not a quick fix. It's a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to realize,
Yeah.
which they haven't.
Yeah, that's the problem is like
We've been having this trend, no? Today,
Yeah.
like everything when we discuss, like it's always like the longer pictures, band-aids and quick fixes are just not available.
It has to be a lifestyle change if you want to live healthier and not only longer but the quality of life.
so to the average youngster who is definitely smoking, definitely drinking in large quantities, what advice would you give him is to just completely go cold turkey because in their head they'll be like, life's so boring without
so
it.
I would say 20 to 30s, it depends on how heavily you partied or heavily you put out with cigarettes or that's going to come and bite you when you're 70 if you last till then. It's not going to affect you in your 30s. But slowly when you're 40, 45, suddenly your uric acid levels may go up, you may get you may not even be able to walk on a treadmill. You may just feel very, very lousy and weak. So I don't think that when you do it in your 20s, it affects you in your 20s. It affects you in your 30s. Or what you do in your 30s affects you in your 40s. So you need to be ahead of the game and think 10 years from now. Like I stopped running because I realized if I run now, in 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line, definitely I need a knee replacement. So you have to think of yoga, you have to think of Pilates, you have to think of weight training. So you need to be a step ahead. I think that's what the youngsters need to get into. Think ahead.
What's the quick way of figuring out are you in shape or out of shape? Is it body mass index? Or?
So body mass index doesn't work because if you're muscle mass, you're going to be heavy on the BMI. So that doesn't work. It's all about how much muscle you have. It's not how much. It's not your weighing scale. Like for example, let's say 2 years ago I may have been 90 kgs. Now I'm say 97, but I'm the same waist. Only thing is I become broader maybe. So that shows that there's more muscle mass. So it's all your fat. It's basically a fat percentage. And your cardiovascular output that you should be able to
determine your
so
fat percentage?
fat percentage, you have all these new gadgets, no? You hold on to, and then there are these machines, these clippers, they calculate in gyms.
Yeah.
So that's very important.
Right.
And you should be able to, they say, jog at a certain speed. 10 minutes a kilometer you should be able to do. Walking speed.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad, yeah.
10 minutes you should finish a kilometer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you should, if you're young, you should be able to jog 1 kilometer in 6 minutes. If you're jogging.
Yeah.
That is your cutoff, it seems, for a healthy heart. So if you're a senior citizen, 10 minutes, let's say you're 50, 55, 10 minutes you should be able to finish a kilometer. And if you're younger, let's say you're in 20s, 30s, you should be able to jog on a treadmill. In 6 minutes, you should finish a kilometer.
Got it.
This is your baseline for seeing whether you're able to, your heart is in a healthy shape.
Like I had heard somewhere that if you can plank for a minute, that's also shows that you're healthy enough to a certain aspect.
Like somebody I saw on Instagram say that there's new asana where you put your foot, you're standing on one leg for 1 minute and then that shows that you're going to live till 90 years old. And if you can't do that, you're going to die by 60.
If you don't forward
the
this.
issue with our generation is that like we have no filter of information. Like
It just, you're driving somewhere and you'll see some nonsense written somewhere. Drink apple cider vinegar every morning. I'll lose 10 kgs. That's utter rubbish. If everyone did that, then everyone will be all...
You must be having a lot of
but
these
that's
people,
no?
no?
That's my saying that before people had people who were sending out this information like newspapers.
Yeah.
Or you had, that was your medium of information.
Yeah.
Now then you had reporters who had to be qualified and had to do research to
Yeah,
write something in the
you're
newspaper.
absolutely right.
So
you have to be at a certain level.
Yeah.
Here, there's no level.
There's
Whatever
nothing.
anybody wants to write,
They're writing.
Yeah.
So,
So do you get these sort of people sometimes and say, well, as per Google, these symptoms mean I have this?
No, so the more affluent the patient is, they seem to know more and they're already questioning you before you start. Like when let's say the MRI is done and I've written the report, they'll come to me with so many differentials like, why can't it be this? Why is it that? And I'm like, how do you know this? Oh, I've gone through Google. And the people who do ultrasounds and they're like, no, but you have right quadrant pain. It says in Google it could be Meckel's or it could be appendicitis, it could be a renal stone. I'm like, this guy is more well-read than me. I was like, Hare, then why are you coming to me? And so Google that way has Google doctors, we call them.
Yeah.
And they're a pain in the ass.
I'm sure. Because
Yeah, I know, because when you go on Google with certain symptoms, it's like they don't understand it's an algorithm feeding
so
you.
you're coming
Coming
to
back
a
to
guy who's studied day in, day out, seeing the same thing. See, it's not about studying or going to a great institute. It's about how many patients you've seen and the effort you put in.
Your experience.
Experience counts. That's what I've realized. So, if a guy who's so experienced seeing 100 patients a day, he can just palpate this, that, and he'll say, this is your issue. He doesn't have to go on to Google. So, you have to trust the doctor.
Trust the
Trust
specialist.
Yes, trust the specialist.
And another this thing is that I wanted to ask you when we were at Google for what do you call facts. So Surya keeps sending me these facts, right? Like, and his biggest facts that he keeps sending me is no one till today has died with smoking marijuana.
Yeah, but now they're saying
Is
that
it
your brain
true?
cells are
Because
shrinking. No.
Huh?
So the grey matter.
Because you would have seen, no, in your like.
No one's
See,
ever
I've
died.
also not seen.
I can bet money
now,
on this.
Now they're saying that. Now they're
I'm just
legalizing.
asking a doctor. I'm saying.
See, now they're legalizing marijuana. At least most of the world is. So basically, what has been proven is that your grey matter gets a little shrunken over the years.
Okay.
So obviously, you're
Compared
not
to
going be
alcohol
as
and
cognitive,
cigarettes as well.
You're going to be a little more forgetful. You're not going to be as sharp.
Right.
But it's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
But like cigarettes, obviously, are going to kill you over that. Over
Alcohol as well. I'm sure
if you're going to
your brain
excessively
cells
drink,
definitely reduce.
yeah, you're going to get Alzheimer's, dementia much faster. But if you're moderately drinking, say 40 ml a night, who stops at 40 these days?
Yeah.
Say 40 ml, then it's okay.
40 ml a night is safe.
Yeah, 30 to 40
Every
ml
day.
every night. It's absolutely safe. The Heart Institute also, I think there's something 20-25 ml you drink every night also.
Let's go.
But who stops?
Where will you go at 25
40 ml, 40 ml, two
You'll
larges.
come home, you'll say, let's have one drink. That one drink goes down so nicely that you're like, let's get another drink. So where is the one drink?
I've been a Hyderabadi all throughout my life, and one thing that I've realized in the city is that we've always had only two hospitals. One is Gandhi Hospital.
One is Usmania
One
Hospital.
is Usmania
And then
Hospital.
slowly the first pioneer was Apollo, which I
Apollo,
still think is one of the best. I work there.
Yes.
And Pratap Reddy sir has really taken private hospitals to another level. So apart from that, what has the government done
Yes.
for Medicare?
Where is the health infrastructure?
See,
Is it good?
right now, because of the private hospitals, yes, it's great. I mean, every nook and corner you have a small diagnostic, a small nursing home, you have your family doctors.
Sure.
But as for the poorer people,
Yes.
the Arogya scheme, you heard about it, right? The Arogya scheme, where you have the white card, you go and you get everything done, which YSR started, which was great.
Yeah.
But this government, I don't know, it's not their fault, but what has the Indian government as such done for their government hospitals?
Correct.
Like you see China, when COVID was coming on, they built, I think, some 5,000 bedded hospital in over 15 days or some 1 month.
Correct.
But what has India done? I mean, forget Hyderabad. Where is the money going to build hospitals? We need hospitals.
Correct.
Except for Gandhi and Usmania, which are in very deplorable conditions, where even my driver or, let's say, house help doesn't want to go there because they think once they get in there, they're not going to come out. They want our help, or they somehow sell some land in their village. They get admitted in Yashoda, Apollo, get their treatment.
Correct.
But I would say that it's high time that the government invests in healthcare.
Right.
Now we've seen COVID. You've seen how many people have died. Where was the healthcare? I mean, now it's time to build massive hospitals.
Yeah.
We have so much place around the ORR that you can, let's say, take the ORR and build north, south, east, west, 4 huge hospitals.
Sure.
And kind of segregate, make it very district oriented, and every district or every town should have a huge hospital.
That's my concern, saying that the budget we were just discussing that it was 3.5% of the budget.
Of the entire, nothing.
Is healthcare.
That's nothing. So healthcare should at least be 20%. At least 50-20%.
But then on one side, people might say like, hey, look, we have such a huge population. You save more, you might have a population explosion. To be devil's advocate.
Yes.
To be a devil's advocate.
Definitely,
that is also the
but
problem.
after seeing COVID, life before COVID was very different.
Yes.
But after COVID, you've seen a system collapse.
Yeah.
So why do you want to have a system
Not only
collapse?
the system collapse, but let me tell you that like you said, population is increasing. You'll increase the population 10% or 10% faster than it's increasing now if you have healthcare, or 15%.
Yeah.
But that does not give you the right to say that no, now we should not have healthcare.
No, but I just feel that what are 2 hospitals going to serve? See, say 50 years ago, the population must have been 5 lakhs.
Correct.
Now it is 50 lakhs.
Correct.
So obviously 2 hospitals, you should have 10 hospitals today.
Correct.
Or even better nursing homes or better systems in place.
Correct.
But where is that happened? You're still depending on Gandhi, Usmania,
Yeah.
NIMS. But if it wasn't for the private sector,
Yes.
where would we be
But
in India?
But the
In the
private
doldrums.
sector, is
Yeah.
whatever you might say, said and done, unless you have like health insurance.
Health insurance, it is expensive,
It is
definitely.
very, very
But it is
expensive.
cheaper than any other part of the world.
No, 100%. 100%.
You know,
Why is Indian medicine or treatment so much more cheaper compared to other countries?
It's insurance, and also it's
labor.
labor. See, we have high labor. In
Yeah, we have
India,
high
it's a service industry. So obviously, America and Britain and Australia don't have that kind of manpower.
Yes.
So let's say you want to get a cataract operation done. Here it is ₹1 lakh.
Yeah.
Abroad, it'll cost you $10,000.
That's because
An
there are
ICU
10
bed here
people.
is 70,000 a night.
Yeah.
Abroad, it will cost you $50,000.
Yeah.
Dollars.
Easy.
Yeah.
There are bills which go up to $200,000-300,000.
Yeah, 100%.
So Indian
great.
healthcare is the cheapest, and I think medical tourism is improving in India now. There are a lot of people in Apollo. They're doing great, and they're getting a lot of people from Africa,
Yes.
Yeah.
and they're helping them out.
Yeah.
So India is the place for healthcare. It's the cheapest, and especially in radiology.
Yeah.
An MRI is approximately 8,000 rupees. In the West, the cheapest MRI is $1,000. And if you want an MRI scan in Canada, you wait 3 months
Wow.
because it's all government related. Healthcare is all government. So let's say I have a knee pain. I can just go next door and
Get
get
the
an MRI done.
yeah.
There you have to take an appointment with your orthopedician. First your family doctor. Then your orthopedician takes another 2 weeks. After that he'll give you an appointment after 2 months. Then only you get your knee replacement done or an MRI done. So Indian healthcare is the fastest and the most efficient. I agree that you have to know someone
Indian
at a
private
hospital.
healthcare.
Private healthcare.
Yeah.
Private healthcare. And it always helps to know someone at that hospital
Of course.
because it's an ocean.
Right.
So let's say if you don't know someone, you will definitely, with the contacts we have and with the people we know, definitely you'll know some surgeon there, some pediatrician, management, somebody.
Yeah.
So when you know someone at the hospital, it makes it much easier because even these hospitals are overrun. If you go to an ER at say 1 in the night at an Apollo or a Yashoda, it's packed.
But I'll tell you also this particular industry, it's also got its very, very dark sides to it. I believe there was one particular Indian doctor in Africa who found out a certain antidote which could have helped prolong HIV patients' life, but the pharma companies with their evil clause stopped it, and they tried to sell his particular drug for an
so what
exorbitant
about
price.
that guy who there was some drug which was released in America recently to cure cancer?
Yes, apparently they did a test and
If that
100%
goes through,
success
I'm
rate.
sure that guy would have been wiped out somewhere, or some sniper will take him out because what will the pharma companies do?
Yeah.
It's basically everything.
It's not like they'll be out of business.
They won't be out of business, but it's all about the money.
Yes.
End of the day.
Yes.
So
Everyone's
certain pharma
counting
companies
numbers. It's all
want
about
this to
numbers.
continue.
Obviously, and you don't want everyone to live till 120.
Yeah.
There is a dark side, and we doctors are trying to make people live longer, and then there are people also on the other side who are like medicines, pumping them with all this to keep them going.
Yeah.
That's the pharma industry.
But why is curing cancer or curing HIV been so difficult? Why it's still not solved 100% yet?
Because that virus or cancer, see, for me, cancer is nothing but some, like let's say a car. Some part of the car has, after using it for 2 years, has gone, spoiled. Same thing, your body itself, everything is, there's a usage to it.
Yeah.
So what happens is now that part of the body has failed, that part has eroded.
Yes.
Cancer cells are nothing but that part of the body which has given up,
Yeah.
And I feel I'm not the typical, let's say I know someone who's had skin cancer who comes to me.
Right.
If I know it's really lethal, I'm not going to put him through the stress of taking him for chemotherapy and radiation.
Sure.
Maximum I will do is pain management
Yeah.
and maybe live for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, but at least he'll have not quality life, but at least he won't go through that trauma of getting treated.
Right.
So that's my point of view. But there's some people who want the chemotherapy, they want the radiation, they want surgery, and they want to keep that man alive till he's 65, 70, 75. But then that's my opinion. I mean, I don't feel that's the right way of looking at it. So there's a lot of two sides to a coin.
I always say, I always, this is something like of a debate that I always understand. Like, people are kept alive in pain, like on ventilators and these medicines and this and that, But where do you draw the line? How is it?
So the patient decides.
Yeah.
Like in the US, they have the patient decides. They have to write their will, or they have something saying that if I get onto a ventilator, will never want to get onto a ventilator.
Right.
So the patient decides.
Is there any such thing in India?
Not that I know of.
No.
And the family decides
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
But what happens in certain situations where people want to cure themselves with some alternate sort of ways
That
of
is their
medicine.
choice. It's like homeopathy.
Yes, like
it is
homeopathy, for example.
Ayurveda.
No other country practices homeopathy besides
Germany.
India. Okay, Germany
Because
probably.
it's originated in Germany.
But I don't know. What is your views on homeopathy?
Basically, my view is it's a steroid.
Okay.
See, I'm coming from the allopathic view. I mean, that's my side of the story.
Allopathy meaning?
Meaning what
Medicines.
we take, what we doctors prescribe.
Medicine. Okay.
But homeopathy, they say, also works, but eventually I feel that person goes back to allopathy in the hospital. Homeopathy doesn't really cure anything.
Is it a placebo where it just makes you think that you've been cured?
There's so many drugs we give as placebos. I've seen that I have written, or even my friends have written, just a vitamin.
Yeah.
And the name very fancy. It doesn't sound like a B12.
Yeah,
It'll just say 12 or some. It could be any tablet, which sounds very complicated. And that guy's like, I'm taking this and I'm feeling very well.
Yeah.
But that could be just a simple B12. So it could be a placebo effect. But there are people who have said that their sinusitis, their joint pains, their stomach acidity has been improved. I don't know if it's completely gone, but it has been improved with homeopathy. So it could be also a placebo. See, you can take homeopathy with your allopathy.
Yeah.
A lot of people combine both. They all want everything. I mean, come on, whatever makes me better.
Not only homeopathy,
let's give it.
allopathy, they include Ayurveda or
which
this
is
Baba
very, very
did
dangerous.
this.
Which I
go
feel.
pet this cow, do
What
this.
about cow urine?
Cow urine. Yeah.
Oh, no,
can we
was,
please talk about that? Is there any sense to that?
That was a shocker when I heard of it about a year ago, that in the north people are drinking and they supply it. And I was like, this is crazy.
There's no science to it.
No science to it. There's no such
I mean,
science.
I kind of get confused as to, at this day and age, like we live in this age of technology, this age of information.
I think it's about India. It's not about the West. I don't think in the West you have such people getting into all these
Not
babas and, you know, I will put cow dung in something and, you know.
No, or even as a weird thing
nonsense.
like the guy, a Baba, having those peacock feathers, trying to cure you, like, you know.
It's it's all in the mind.
It's,
What about that Baba who was saying it's in me? There's one guy who goes on talking about, I forget his name.
I'm forgetting his name.
Nityananda.
Yeah, Nityananda. How are the people lined up and seeing him?
Yeah. They have too many.
And he said, I will cure cancer and you just listen to me. And
It's like God, you know. When something happens good, then, oh, thank you, God. But if something happens, if someone dies because of that,
I think if you get weaker in the mind, you go into these alternate therapies, alternate pathways.
Like naturopathy, for example.
Yeah.
Is there any substance to it?
See,
Ayurveda, naturopathy.
What
basically,
is naturopathy? I don't know what that
basically you're having, it's basically elements of nature,
Okay.
which you make tablets and you're consuming them, like, you know, copper, gold, silver. You have different tablets.
A lot of naturopathy centers popping up all over. It's tax-free also in India.
So I don't believe in that because you get a lot of liver toxicity.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
So why would you want
metal?
Metal. So metal. Someone says you will have an erection till you're 90 years old. Take this metal. That guy's popping in 5 mg every night of gold or whatever. And
but there's such a the problem is there's a dark side to allopathy as well, because you're having a certain tablet to solve something, but its side effects.
Something. I'll tell you what, like, maybe there's a side effect, but see, the thing is that at least it's proven.
Definitely you will get cured to a certain extreme. You may have a side effect, but it's written.
It's scientific fact.
Again, Google talking 20 side effects. Maybe you won't have any of them. Maybe you'll have one of them. But definitely you will have some improvement. So I'm not saying if I have a fever and a cold, don't take anything. Just drink warm water with haldi and your sore throat's going to get better. Maybe it's not. Maybe it will. But do both. Take an antibiotic if you require to help you, and then also have don't kill yourself by smoking and having ice with your whiskey. Drink it on the rock and drink it neat.
Don't drink it on the
rock. Don't drink it that night. So that's how it is.
But like it's just because I'll tell you, I have from personal experience as a close family member I know. and very, very addicted to allopathy, very, very addicted to medicines. And because certain medicine was taken to cure something, then some other problem happened, and then another medicine and another medicine. I don't think our human body is meant to consume so much medicine.
Not at all. But
at
a lot of
like,
people...
isn't there a normal self-cleansing way also of
I would say
dealing?
just, like, see, now they say the best way to cleanse your body is to fast.
Yeah.
So you could also not take any medicines, but then once at a certain age, if you don't take it,
Yeah.
how are you going to survive? In sense, let's say your cholesterol is at... So there was a study I've seen that, let's say your cholesterol is at 220. Your triglycerides are 300. Yes, you will diet. You won't eat rice. You'll eat only millets. You'll eat quinoa. You won't drink. You won't eat desserts. It'll come down to, say, 180. But then what kind of lifestyle are you leading?
Yeah.
But if you still want to maintain your lifestyle, you have to take these tablets. You can't say no to tablets, at the end of the day. Let's say your blood pressure. Obviously, you're going to take BP medicines. You can't not take it, right?
Yeah, basically.
Or your
it's
sugar,
dependent-
diabetes.
Yeah.
You have to take insulin. Yes, you will jog, you will eat lighter, but still, some people's sugars will never come down. So you need allopathy somewhere or the other.
100%, because the thing is that allopathy is not what I feel is that, like, okay, there are some things where you don't need.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
You don't need, but many things, like for example diabetes,
Yeah.
you need it. There is
Yeah.
no option. Your
There's no
body
option.
cannot process.
But there's some people who are hypochondriac. For a cold also, he'll take one antibiotic.
That's
Or
wrong.
that is another. And
Yeah.
Or they will call up Krishna Reddy at 2 in the morning because I sneezed 4 times.
Yeah, exactly.
There are people who have called me or called 10 other people and then called me.
Correct.
And they've taken all the 10 medicines.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did you take that? No, that doctor told me. Then why are you calling me?
Yeah.
So there are people who are also extreme in both aspects. Some who don't want to take care of themselves and they say we'll just drink turmeric water and just have a hot soup. Some
This,
will also overdo it.
This recently with this thing, everyone they drink kada and like.
Yeah. It depends on your body. Like if I do too much lemon, I get a sore throat. Or my acidity increases. Some people say lemon is basic,
good for me.
very good for you. So it's all, you have to listen to your body. And I feel as a doctor, you listen to your body when it comes to your health, you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
And don't push yourself. Once you start pushing yourself and you know you're pushing yourself, you need to take a seat back. You need to calm down. You need to slow down.
How important is sleep?
Very important.
Like, what's the average good
I
amount
would say
you
it's
should
not
sleep?
about the length of the sleep. It's the quality of the sleep.
Okay.
So I would say anything between 6.5 to 8.5 hours is a must.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to do more than 8 to 9 hours. I mean, let's say you're really tired, automatically you'll sleep. But post-alcohol, post-caffeine, you'll never sleep well.
Yeah.
Like if you do a lot of caffeine, people like to wake up, they want to feel energized. So they do a lot of caffeine. You can't sleep.
Yeah.
And I feel that if you sleep well, you're healthier. Because it kind of rests everything.
Yeah.
And people don't emphasize on sleep as much in India. They don't really know. That guy will have something which is loaded with caffeine at 6 o'clock and then realize, shit, I'm not able to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
He won't even know that because of that it happened. But sleep is very important.
And these different kinds of sleep, like REM sleep.
REM, you go to this sleep centers now which are popping up everywhere. They calculate your NREM, REM sleep and how much you moved. And then you have these watches now which tell you your body battery.
All these apps are there.
One of my boss, he has a watch which tells him in the morning his body battery. So he's like, today my body battery is 90%. I'm like, wow. I mean, like,
Even I want this watch.
I also want this watch. And then he'll be like, oh man, it's 6 in the evening today. I'm tired. My body battery is at 20. I'm like, oh wow, this is damn
What
cool,
watch
man.
is this?
I have to get the same watch.
Yeah.
So another thing with sleep is stroke, brain strokes.
Okay.
And cerebral hemorrhages increase with lack of sleep. Because you're so wired
Yeah.
that you're not resting your body and mind, that your blood pressure goes up and you definitely will get into some issue or the other. So I suggest people out there have to sleep well.
Yeah, like a lot of people, like they work really hard to make X amount of crores in their
Yeah,
bank
yeah.
account, and
But they
what they
can't
don't
sleep.
Can't sleep.
But that's the problem. If you see something common amongst all these major billionaires, their health has drastically suffered because of the stress
Yeah.
which they've accumulated.
Because they have to be
cannot
all over
sleep.
the world.
If you can sleep peacefully at night, you are richer than these billionaires. Is what I feel.
Definitely. Because they have to be every day in a new place.
Exactly.
They have to be making that much money. And if they make a mistake, another million people get poorer next day with one comment or one wrong decision, wrong move. So there's so much stress and pressure that I don't think people are sleeping as well.
Well, the doctor's advice is sleep well and live a simple life.
Simple
Drink
life.
your whiskey neat.
No ice.
No ice.
And yeah, so
No,
that's...
but also on a different aspect, we talk about health as well, but there's something which is in our heads which has also been drastically being affected is mental health, and depression rates are skyrocketing.
Yes.
What is the trend you've seen?
I feel it's all social media caused.
Okay.
It's because you're comparing yourself
agree.
to the next person. See, 50 years
Constantly
ago,
competing.
if I went to America or I bought Jordans or my neighbor bought a Ferrari or let's say somebody in America bought, why would I know? What would I know? I want to know the latest Bentley model which launched.
Yeah.
Today on the phone, suddenly
Everybody
you're
knows.
driving and then you see this new car which launched or this new watch which came out or this family went on a holiday. It's all about comparing. It's all about, and not that you want to do it. It's just mentally you feel so bad that you're not doing it.
Yeah.
It's not that you may have done it, but it's just that why am I not there?
Yeah.
Or why am I not living that man's life? Or why don't I look as good as this guy?
And the crazy part is that it's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lie.
It's a
Even
lie.
if it's not a lie,
No, even if it may,
Yeah.
mostly it's
We
a
are
lie.
being told
No,
that
but
mediocrity
no,
is a
that's
bad
what I
thing.
think.
You have to be some star.
no,
Yeah,
that's
you
what
have
I'm
to be a
saying.
star. Everybody has to be a
Exactly.
star.
So end of the day, even if he's just doing his family a favor by taking them on a holiday to Paris, and you're working your crazy hours here.
No,
That's
I'm not
you
saying-
shouldn't
I'm
worry
not saying
about.
that
But what
he's-
happens in your mind? It's subconsciously you're getting affected
I'm
because
not
you're
saying
like,
he's
I wish I
lying
was
or
there.
leading by the car. It is the life that is being projected.
No,
to
there
you.
is also fake.
Yeah.
There are fake people who are doing a lot of fake stuff on Instagram as well.
Yeah.
But the true friends,
Yeah.
it could be a simple friend also who's gone abroad and you're working,
Yeah.
and you just feel, damn, I wish I was there, man. Instead of being here, I need a break. That automatically gets subconsciously built in that you're going through this traffic, you're in this situation. But 50 years ago, you wouldn't know what your friend's doing or what he's
Exactly.
eating. No. I'm gone to America, you do whatever. Now, it's one phone call away, it's one message, one picture, one video,
Yeah.
which is actually troubling this younger generation.
So like depression rates.
That's why they're going up.
They've been skyrocketing.
Yeah, because
suicides
kids,
as well.
obviously,
Like as well.
yeah.
There's someone in a very close circle of ours who
Yeah.
committed suicide, and a lot of people as society we just say, oh, that person had everything. That person had a great business and was good looking. Why should that happen? But
That's what I'm saying. Depression.
what is depression like? If you've ever
Depression
dealt
is
with it?
basically your hormones, your
Okay.
serotonin, your dopamine levels in your brain, which are produced, are low.
Okay.
It's nothing got to do with anything else.
You can't reason with it.
It's not like, oh, I didn't get that dress, I'm feeling sad. That's not depression.
Okay.
Depression is, I could have everything and I could feel this emptiness. You'll feel this hollow feeling in your stomach when you're depressed. And you feel like, if someone says, let's go get a drink, you're going to make an excuse. I've been there.
Yeah.
I've gone through this. And as a doctor, I encourage my friends to go and seek help, because
Psychologist.
What is the help that you would seek? Like,
first thing is you need to go and talk to someone.
Yeah.
It's not the same talking to your wife or your mother or your father.
Sure.
Your father's going to say,
mental health
why you
professional."
kya bol raha?
My
Why
time
you're
I
mad
went through
fellow?
this.
What you're doing? Go to Bangkok for 3 nights.
Yeah,
or my mom was like, okay, no, go out for dinner today. Don't go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Your wife will like, no, don't worry, relax. She'll hold your hand and she'll sit with you. So you can't go. You need to go to a professional.
I'll make some nice soup for you.
Ah,
and feed.
I'll make you your favorite meal. It's not about that. Depression is much more than that. You have to seek help from a professional.
Yes.
It's like taking a tablet for a cold. The same thing. It's like taking a tablet for your serotonin, dopamine levels. That's why they say when you work out, endorphins are released.
Yeah.
It's a happy hormone. Why do I work out? Because it's a happy hormone. It makes you feel good. So you feel good, you look good, you kind of exuberate confidence. So that's one part of there's so many verticals of depression.
Right.
So you have to meet someone professionally,
Right.
and that's very important. And only a professional can treat you.
But isn't that something just only a certain 1% of the population can
Because
probably
it's a
have
stigma.
access to?
Because they'll say, "Arey, pichodo, that guy, Baba, he's a mental fellow," or
No, yeah,
you know,
exactly.
to
Yeah,
pagal hai,
that
kya bol
word
raha hu na?
that you use is
If I
correctly
say
the
I go to a
picture only.
psychiatrist, "Arey, pagal hai re.
Pagal.
Don't be, arey, don't hang out with him."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It is Indian. The system in India is faulty.
Apparently in Argentina, I have some friends who went over there. In Argentina, it's encouraged for everyone to go openly. They very openly talk
they're
about, I
very,
went to this, I went to a shrink, and
Exactly.
Yeah, but
there's no shame in it.
There's
But in
no
India,
shame.
it's a very
It's a
considered.
big
You know,
shame,
so they don't know that a lot of people are suffering from IBS in India, irritable bowel syndrome.
Okay.
Right.
That is also depressive. It's a depression.
What is IBS?
Basically,
for people who don't understand.
It's irritable bowel syndrome. So when you eat,
Yeah.
whatever you eat, you feel like going to the loo much more. It's like when you're nervous, how do you feel? You feel like trying to evacuate.
Your
So
stomach
it's-
determines
yeah.
your mood to a
So
large
they
extent.
say that
will you only want to go to the loo, or will you want to throw up? As
no,
well?
no, not throw up. It's mostly very irritable. Sometimes you get nausea.
Okay.
So what happens is people don't know it's linked to the brain.
Right.
So people who have depression, anxiety, has this condition called IBS.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about it as a live. I've been through this. I was having this really bad 6-8 months of constant irritable bowel, and then I didn't realize that it's mind related because I was going through a lot of stress. And then when I met a gastroenterologist who really was very good, she didn't give me anything for my stomach. She gave me a drug for my mind to calm it down, and automatically my IBS was solved. So see, you need to go to a professional.
Right.
So that's what people don't know. So that's very important.
I know it's crazy because some people, the as you said, the serotonin levels are low, which causes people to take such drastic steps like suicide, which we would think should be the last thing anyone
And
should ever
another
think
thing
of.
is, I think friendships these days are not as thick as what they used to be.
I agree, yeah.
I feel they're very superficial.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that everyone should have the best friends to hang out with, but they should know your real close friends.
Yeah.
They mistake their superficial buddies to being their best friends.
Everybody
And
is,
oh, they didn't call me for this party. Why didn't they call me? I'm so close.
Yeah.
Automatically in your mind, you're already feeling a little sad.
Yeah.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's their life. They don't want to call you. That's not your problem. You need to be happy. Know your friends, know your family,
And have real conversations.
and real conversations. Whereas people
Diet
like,
as well is important.
diet is very important because if you don't have a healthy gut, you won't have a healthy mind. And I've noticed that when I'm not healthy in my gut, I'm sluggish the next day.
Yeah.
What relates to a bad gut? Like how?
Basically, what you're eating. You need to have a lot of fiber.
Okay.
You need to have a lot of water
Right.
and eat clean.
Right.
So it's not about just eating lettuce and drinking water. It's about eating nutritious food,
Yes.
but not stuff which is greasy, which is oily, which is outside food.
Right.
Whatever suits you.
Yeah.
You don't have to have dairy products. You can avoid. So that's very important.
Okay, one last sort of a question. We hear all the time about doctors preaching all these lifestyles, but a lot of doctors I've met are also chain smokers.
Yeah. That's the pressure again.
That's the pressure.
I was telling,
Explain
just
that.
today I was talking to my mom in the morning, I think at the breakfast table, and I said, she's like, oh, did you have a late night? I said, yeah, I went out for dinner. And I said, that's a doctor's lifestyle. I mean, we work late, and when we party or when we go out, I don't smoke, but a lot of my friends who are doctors are smoking and drinking.
Yeah.
And it's the pressure they go through.
Right.
And I'll tell you something, they're not making as much money as someone who doesn't work half the time. They're putting so much effort by seeing so many patients, but they're not making that much money. So there's so much more pressure on them as well. So being a doctor is not easy in India.
Yeah.
So
It's not like you're a saint.
Yeah,
You're a human
definitely.
being.
And I think doctors need to be given, a little more importance and cut some slack, and,
Very true.
I feel
Paid better.
paid better, definitely.